Hey, and welcome to Facebook here at Workman Success. If you are looking for Viral Workman, a big mistake. No Viral, no dimples. It's Terri Murphy, Master Coach with Workman Success, doing our flash briefing. And guess what? We have the best combination today. We have the amazing and sometimes annoyingly wonderful Brooke Signs. Brooke, say hello.
Hi, thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, well, excuse me. I mean, any opportunity we have to profile what we call Perfect Brooke, and she knows that I say that out of love. In case you don't know Brooke, she is a senior coach with Workman Success. One of those people that seems to rise overnight to the occasion. She starts in real estate, and her very first year gets the rising, what was that? The rising star of real estate in your first year. Everybody else is trying to figure out how to drive a car, not her. Okay, she's just amazing. And she went from one person, the Brooke, to hiring 10 other people because now she has figured out how to do it. And I just want to say thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. You're making me blush. I'm pretty happy to be here, like I said on Facebook earlier today, with the Terri Murphy. I see
Ah,
your
yeah.
name all over everything, and you're amazing. So I'm glad to be here.
That's one of the problems of being a neurotic firstborn overachiever. But you know what? You have an interesting background, and I really do admire you in so many ways. Mostly pretty envious because you just make it happen. We know we're going to talk about your little OCD factor later, but you've had a really successful career before real estate, hiring speakers. And how did you make that transition into real estate? Why?
Absolutely. I used to book motivational speakers to colleges, universities, corporations, and it was something that I've always loved people. And so we worked with about 20 to 25 different speakers that would travel across the country. And that's where my OCD really came in handy because I had to know.
We got it? Well, this is Murphy's Law at its best, by the way, in case you're wondering. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Just this is just how it happens here. Suddenly, God just goes, "Hey, watch this." But the thing is that your OCDness is really what really helped you go to the next level. And the one of the biggest challenges we have as a team leader, as a team leader, or as a woman in business, is to delegate and allow and in your case, build a team. Uh, wow, how did you do that? What was your first step, and why did you know you had to duplicate yourself?
Well, my first year in real estate, I was running around, for lack of a better term, like a chicken with my head cut off. I absolutely did not have work-life balance. And I think you've heard this before, but I remember taking a family trip well, I don't remember taking a family trip to Disney. There I am standing in the middle of Magic Kingdom trying to write offers and negotiate deals on my phone. And I'm like, this is not any good way to be there for my family and be a mom and a wife and everything else. And so I quickly realized that I needed help. However, I pushed back on my coach. So I started with Workman Success Systems and started coaching. And so Sarah Goldie is my coach, and
Oh,
she'll tell
sure.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, she's amazing. I love her. And she's been great with me. I mean, I've been with her almost 4 years now as a coaching client, but she kept pushing me. You need to hire an admin. You need to hire an admin. And it's just like we talk to a lot of our coaching clients that it's difficult to make that first step because you are putting food on that person's table. I mean, that's a huge thing. And in real estate, you don't always know, are you going to sell a house tomorrow? And at least I didn't. I mean, that was my first year in the business and I had no idea what was going to happen tomorrow, let alone a year from now. So Sarah helped really walk me through how to ensure that I was hiring the right person and to hire them kind of in the right order too. And so I started with my admin, who was my first hire and was a fantastic first hire. She's still with me. And just a little tip for everybody: the best advice that Coach Sarah gave me with the hiring is to put somewhere, hide in the paragraph or description of the job to mention the word apple or mention just a random word in the subject line of the email with the resume and references that came over. And I've taught that to all my coaching clients. And that's something that really works because you can tell right off the bat whether,
You're paying attention.
yeah, whether they're detail oriented. I mean, they could tell you all day long that they're detail oriented, but that's kind of the first test to see where it goes from there. And I don't look at anybody. I mean, if you don't have that in there, it's an automatic no.
Really. So that's Sarah. She is, she's so beautiful, but she's sneaky. You just have to watch her. She's so smart. Like you are a little bit of an OCD fanatic. There's no way that you can accomplish what you accomplish. And one of the things was, besides being a Workman Success Senior Coach, if you're just joining us, this is the Brooke Shield Signs. And one of the things that you also do is you write for Riz, you volunteer with your kids, Kendall and Connor. You pimp out little Kendall. You put her on Facebook so people will talk
She's
to you.
way cuter than me.
She is adorable, but you two are, I mean, it's just how you blend. And we loved, between you and Perfect Sarah, we love to say the word perfect. But the fact is that you must have some organizational skill that allows you to give you permission, because you are an amazing mom. You do the mommy things. You bake the cookies and you do the projects, and then you've got the eye candy husband that goes with that. And
He is
you're
pretty
running
handsome.
yes, he is, two different teams. You've expanded your business. I would say that your core values are probably at the very foundation of that. Tell us, I mean, that's not just something that you talk about, because it's actually on your website. So tell us about how that's ingrained in everything that you do and decide to do to be so successful in your business.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I mean, I have to attribute a huge amount of that. I mean, obviously, the core values is in the Workman Success Systems coaching and training programs. And so walking through doing that with the team and just what core value, what do we have at our core? What is inside? And so having us walk through and do that exercise was enlightening. And having, I mean, now I know we've added it to our business plans where people do it on their own individually and then as a team. But I'll tell you, we learned some great things about one another going through the exercise and talking about what our core values are and then putting them together as a team to use. One of the things that I've always done in my life since I can even remember is use acronyms. That's something that has helped me. It helps me memorize different things. And so we did our core values around acronyms. So Love West MI for Love West Michigan for our Michigan team, and then Love CLT for our Charlotte, North Carolina team. And we overlapped. I mean, they pretty much consist of the same items, but we hire and fire by those core values. They're very important to us. And then we did core values as a family too. So
Of
we
course you did.
have
Of course you did.
we have our signs family core values on our family room wall too.
I knew it would be on the wall. I mean, I just knew it would be on the wall. And you know what? That's okay, because those children have an unfair advantage. They really do. Core values are the one things that I think would be a tremendous solution to our society today. But speaking of hiring, yes, getting that first admin, OMG, is the biggest step. Not only do you have the responsibility of putting food on their table, but you're responsible for that, and you have to let go, and right, you want to be sure it's done, so you don't want to have to do it twice. So what's your secret about hiring? You know that you've got a great team in both expanded offices. I know you hired a core values. Tell us a few of the other steps you go through as you select people. Did you have a lot? How did you find them? Was it referrals? Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, it's kind of been all across the board, but I will tell you that once I made that first hire, I kind of became addicted to it.
Ha,
So we have 4 admins now. I realized how nice it is to be able to leverage myself and be able to leverage time for the other agents. on the team and also the admins as well. So they can actually have some time off. So doing it, just going through the whole process. So we determine that there's a need, whether it's we are blessed to have enough business that we need additional sales partners on the team or that we need an admin in another role, but we determine that as a team. And then we all kind of put our thinking caps on as to have we done a transaction with another agent that may be a good fit for our team or may be worth reaching out to. And then we always take them through the disc profile and determining, looking at their assessment there, and just looking at, that's a small amount, maybe a 25% weight that we give to the overall, whether or not we hire this person. But it's important to know what that person's disc profile is. And then we take them through we ask for their resume, we ask for their references, we call the references. A lot of people ask for references and
Mhm.
then they don't call. So we call and we ask those questions. One of the best books that I read was by Jim Collins, From Good to Great. And so having the right people on the bus, and I really learned a lot reading his book because you want the right people, but also in the right seats on the bus for their
Yeah, not only
jobs.
that, but you also work with family, and we always know that's a little trickier.
Hmm.
But because of your ability to be concise and precise, each one of, as an example, each one of your client care specialists admins have a specific job. Would you just kind of run through all four? Because I know there's people, Melanie Rose Quirk, on this call who's been the warrior princess. I can do this all by myself with only one arm. Watch me, and one foot. I know she's going to laugh at that, but if you can get projects, doesn't that help you get started? If you were brand new and listening to this about hiring an admin, tell us how that just kind of took that off and it was a system that worked just like a computer program underneath everything else.
Yeah, well, what's funny is, and I'll just tell, I mean, we'll just lay it all out on the table. I'm OCD, I'm a control freak. I mean, there's a lot that I could tell you here. So, Melanie, I'm right there with you. But what I learned is that I have a different disc profile. I'm a high I. I mean, I'm a 98 out of 100. And so having an admin who is good at that role, and that's where that person shines, in that SC or CS, that organized, detail oriented personality. They do it better than us, Melanie. I hate to tell you. And so, and that's what they like and enjoy to do, someone that is in that role. So, as I said, I definitely became addicted to hiring because I quickly realized that there were other people that could be more efficient working in that role, where we, in our role as, maybe if you're a team leader, having a team leader be able to go out and sell and train and lead the team. And so it makes more sense. So on our team, for example, we have our client relationship or client relations manager, kind of a client care coordinator, and she oversees both teams for the admin side. So the team in West Michigan and Charlotte. And go Queen City, Yolanda. I see you post on there. And then we have a transaction coordinator, Alicia, and she does a great job working with the agents, just pulling everything from the paperwork side of things. Our team is fantastic behind the scenes, making sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Of course, we have checklists for every step of the process. And I've shared with a lot of people.
Multiple
Would you
checklists.
say, yeah, multiple? Oh, you should have seen coronavirus hits and my kids are home. So what's the first thing I do? Make checklists.
Well, if you're like Alyssa Tran, you probably did a whole agile, Alyssa. Her poor kids are going to grow up not figuring out anything without one of those agiles. But no, you did. You did a
Yeah,
great
she's
job with
perfect at that.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah. So the transaction coordinator, I think it's important to have that person really learns the personality of the agents too, because not all the agents are the same. And so that transaction coordinator says, okay, Brooke is OCD and she gets all, she ensures that every line is filled out on on what paperwork we need. But there may be another agent that's just not where their strength is. And so everyone can help kind of fill in for the others there and work hand in hand. So then we have a team support staff member, and that's Lisa, and she's amazing as well. I just have the best staff. So she does anything and everything that the team needs. I mean, she's wonderful. She sends out, if I need handwritten notes dropped off or put in the mail, she helps me with that. If I have any client gifts, she'll help me coordinate wrapping or dropping those off. She helps us with signs, lock boxes, preparing listing and buyer folders, just kind of a little bit of everything.
Now, which one of the client care does all? So you are so we get the top 50, which if you're a workman success person, very important for our MVPs, and we do this whole thing. But Brooke's got to kick it up a notch, and then you got Kat Rockwell, who's got to outdo Brooke, and she kicks it up another notch.
Yeah.
But you are one of the most original people. One of the things we've learned about during this pandemic is that connection is nice, but if it's pandering, hey, it's like you said, if you get a birthday card from your State Farm person, no disrespect to State Farm, you just know it wasn't as warm and fuzzy. If you got one, in other words, they'll never meet Mr. Remax or Mr. Caldwell. So, but when they get one from you as part of the company, that's really cool. But you brought it up a notch. Tell us what you did and what made you do that. And plus, you wanted to relate it to their professions as well. So tell us how you changed that top 50 to be so much more personal and intentional. And I'd say intimate in the right way, because it's clearly not just a checked off, I talked my top 50. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our marketing director has been awesome. She puts together all of our, she designs all of our cards that we send out, and helps me behind the scenes with those things. But as I said, I'm a high I love people, and any excuse I have to talk with people, meet with people, I love it. I was sending out, my mom always said that I should own a Hallmark shop because I love sending gifts and cards and everything for every reason. And so when we talk about the top 50, or we talk about those people that are important in our lives and that we have relationships with, I I wanted to ensure that they were hearing from me on those big dates in their lives. So their anniversaries, their kids' birthdays, their house anniversaries, their own birthday and such. So yeah, I created, I said, okay, instead of just sending them a birthday card, what is a good gift that I could send to everybody and include it in the envelope and have it be, not all bulky and make it a huge deal to ship and get out to everyone. So I said, well, all kids, I mean, I know my kids, my daughter will babysit for you all night long for $1. So we haven't taught her, we're smart. We haven't taught her that part of it yet.
Okay.
So, but so sending $1 in a kid's birthday card,
Big
I
deal.
mean,
Big
yeah,
deal.
like my kids, it's a super big deal. My kids will do anything for $1. So I know that doing that, and then also getting mail. My kids love to get mail, and especially a handwritten card. So we did that for the kids, and then we do a scratch off lotto ticket for the adults. And again, it's just fun. I don't typically buy lotto tickets. And so if I get one, it's kind of a novelty, and I have fun scratching it off. And I'm not very lucky, so I never win, but
Oh, I
I
wouldn't
hope
say
that
that.
my friends do, that I send them to.
Well, here's the thing. From my coaching, I've learned that there are some people that aren't comfortable with lottery, but you can put a donation in their name. And this is where I thought you were so brilliant with including some of the personal notes, and your team. Each one of your team members has their own top 50 list, so you can monitor that it's a true consistency of nurturing that relationship monthly. But let's
Hmm.
just say they have a dog and they're dog people, and
Yep.
you include a donation to the shelter for the dogs. Or let's just say that they are military and you make, a small donation to the VFW, the local VFW. no matter what you do, when it's more personal, I mean, it's always, like Verl says, everything works, nothing doesn't. But when you kicked it up a notch, you made all of us realize how critically more important it was to be more purposeful than just doing the standard. Not that that's even standard, because so few agents do. You did a really, really great job with that. And then how often do you have client appreciation events when we used to be able to do something besides elbows? I mean, when,
Yeah,
if it was a normal world.
I know, and that's why I'm going to need a support group here because of COVID, not being able to see people or hang out. But we typically do about 3 to 4 client events a year, and we start off at the beginning. I mean, basically at the beginning of the year or December of the previous year, we plan out the entire 12 months. And so we know when our client events are going to be, and it's not a last minute thrown together thing. And so we make it very important. We are very intentional about ensuring that everything's set up on the calendar. We have the Facebook event pages for it, we have Evite links, and then we also do a donation to a local organization. And so we'll help homeless teens and ask what different things that we can ask for donations for that, or do a perishable food drive or non-perishable goods or canned food drive. And so at our client appreciation events, we just ask our clients to bring something that, they can donate at that time. So we're able to help and give back locally too.
Yeah. So if you don't know about Brooke, she makes all of this look effortless, and she really does. She works really, really hard, but it's really hard to like her when she's the mommy of the year. She writes for Riz. She's disc certified. She runs 2 teams. She's active at church. You started some amazing. I think I read about it that you had uh, something to do with local charitable. You founded something. What was that?
Yeah, the Giving Circle of
Giving
GR.
Circle. Yeah.
Yep.
Tell
It's a
us
group
about
of women. Yeah, so a group of women, and it's something that's super exciting that anyone can do and start. But we started with 10 women. We use obviously there's 12 months in a year. So we always started with January, where that's our planning month. And then December was more of something where we could teach our families that they can get involved and give back too. And so we'd kind of use December as a give back to all the organizations that we worked with throughout the year. But each month, a different woman of the group would choose what organization they wanted to give to. And we would learn about it as a group, and we would each donate $100. So each month, we could donate $1,000 to a local organization. And also, more importantly than just the money, but we could learn about that organization so we could tell others, and we could give in other ways too. If we could donate our time or meals or used books or anything else.
So did you just wake up one morning over your non-coffee and think of that one? How did that happen? I mean, you had to have some kind of thought process. I mean, you're very, you're talk about disc, your altruism is off the charts, which we know. But that, that takes some organization. And again, it's a consistent way to leverage other people's intellectual and experiential capital. And I think that was really pretty terrific. I do tease you about how you do everything so well, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of energy and it's a lot of time, but you're very fierce about spending the right time with your kids, doing the biking and the camping and the other stuff. How do you set up your perfect week? I mean, is there a what we call a red zone where it's a non-negotiable for you?
Oh, absolutely. And that goes in first. So
Yeah.
my family time is, and I tell people all the time, it's you have an appointment with your family first.
Yeah. So is
And
that like Sunday? Is that all day Sunday? Is it because I know there's some people on this call whose names I won't mention that they're very reactionary. They,
uh-huh.
somebody calls and they want to drop everything, which by the way, I did for a million years. And then you just realize that if you don't block for you first, because real estate has a very strong burnout component. And the reason is because it's a shot collar industry. There's no consistency to it. It's not like, we're open for business. It's now global and 24/7. So you have to be fairly strong about that. But again, when you've got 10 people that you're responsible for, it's kind of hard to say no when you want to, get the income. So can you give us like a little sample? I mean, with because of your OCDness with your team, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, what is there a specificity? Do you have like Taco Tuesday or something like Top 50 Thursday? I mean, is there any kind of rhythm to what you do on your My Planned Week with your team and your family?
Yeah, there's of course quite a bit. So we have almost the whole week always planned out. But what I I know it's a shocker, but for our team, I mean, we do a Monday all team meeting at 10 a.m. On Wednesdays. We all get together and we call at 10:30 a.m. We kind of talk about scripts and role play practice, objection handlers for about 30 minutes. And then we call through our lead tracker. So that's every Wednesday, and we call whoever we're supposed to be calling for that week to ensure we're getting those calls done. Thursdays, we join into the BAM role play call, which is a fantastic call to be on
Every
as a
time,
team. Yep.
every time, even though these people are seasoned, they go through BAM. Did everybody hear that? I just wanted to be sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, you get something out of it every time, and then you just continue to etch it in your DNA and internalize it. So
So
I'm
how
on
do you,
every one.
so how do you just have them not block showing property or doing anything that hour? Is that it?
Absolutely, it's an appointment. So
Gotcha.
if you have, and what I teach my team, um, and this is what I coach to as well. But if you were to have another appointment, a listing appointment, Terri, with Joe Schmo tomorrow at 6 p.m., and someone else wants to see a house at 6 p.m., you're not going to book over that listing appointment, right? You
Correct.
have to coordinate another time that works. So why would it be any different if you have to be at your kid's soccer game tomorrow at 6 p.m.? It's just as important.
I told you she's really convincing. I mean, she is convincing. So as we wrap this up, I think one of the questions I would ask, and I always try to ask the questions of the people that are sharing your wisdom at the moment, and that is, you know, um, for a more serious outcome, you're at a time in your life where you're building this magnificent business, you're raising family, you're using a lot of personal energy that goes out. What's in it for you? What are you looking at 10 years from now, maybe even 15? It's really hard when you're that, because everything's working, your body's working. There's a time where, you wake up one day and you're like, whoa, well, I think I'm going to slow down this a little bit. But I would just like to know, 10 or 15 years, you're so goal oriented. I'm sure you're planned out to, forever. But is there one thing you could give to somebody who's watching this, who or is listening, what's in it for you? What for you? What's the where's the golden ring? What is it for you? What's the why that gets you up every day? Because we all know how much fun people can be
Yes.
sometimes.
Well, I'm always, I don't have at this point, I'll stop or I'll rest. I mean, that's just
No, you're
not
not
in
going to do
my
that. Yeah.
blood. But when I think about, I mean, 10 to 15 years, uh, Connor will be, my son Connor will be what, 18 to 20 something with the 10 to 15 years, and Kendall will be 21 to 26 maybe of years of age. So um, that, gets me thinking. I think the biggest thing that I try to live my life by is whatever I'm doing, we do it kind of as a family. Like I know that I'm never going to get this time back. And so when I volunteer, when I'm doing these things, it's it's being ingrained in the family too. And so hopefully, I mean, the best thing that could happen is that my kids are truly seeing that and living that. And I mean, Kendall last week, she had some time off from her virtual classes that, of course, we have them signed up for right now. And I said, well, what are you going to do this afternoon? And she said, well, I think I'm going to make cards for the neighbors and just put them in their mailboxes to say, hi, I hope you're doing well. And so I mean, first of all, she loves cards and is a card person. So I was very proud. But the fact that she's thinking about others and using that time, I mean, that made me feel like, okay, we're maybe doing something right. So I know that the Charlotte, North Carolina team, I wrote it on my business plan a year ago for my 5-year business plan, and it has come to fruition sooner. And so I know I'm one of the believers that what you focus on will become. And so I'm focusing on and just continuing to help whoever we can in whatever arena we can. So I love,
Yeah, the key word that you just said, not to interrupt you, is we focus on what we want, not what we don't want. And I think that's the big differentiator, especially today with the challenges that we have, which are everywhere. Is it a roadblock or a rabbit hole? I loved when Virl did that. And to me, everything's a roadblock, which is actually a gift. It might be a pain, it might be a challenge, it might be frustrating, but at the end of the day, it helps you discover something you hadn't discovered. And I'm hoping today that everybody that's on the call discovers that, what's your excuse? It can be done. You have to start with this. You have to start with a plan. You have to hire the right people. And when you don't, you release them to someone else. I mean, you can't always tell what's going to happen, right?
right. And
But
I've had to do that too. It's a tough decision, but
it is because, if you're a possibility thinker in a high I, oh, by the way, um, you really have a faith that people will be their best,
uh-huh.
but their best and your best can be totally different things. So I want to thank you for joining us. Do you have any, I don't know if we have any questions. I know that April's monitoring, and thank you everybody for being here. Do we have any questions before we release Miss Brooke to be even better? I mean, I'll tell you what, you are a tremendous asset to not only to Workman Success, which has been one of the many gifts we all get from working with Workman, but just use it. You are a testament to the systems work if you work the systems. And of course, you have an unfair advantage with Sarah, but then there's Julie, and then there's, Caprice, and then all of the coaches
So
are
many
wonderful.
wonderful, yeah,
Everybody, yeah,
wonderful
it's the
people.
best family ever. I mean,
And that's what I love, that family feel.
exacto. And not everybody cares for meatballs, but it works. You know what I mean? It's a great family, and I'm so glad you joined us. People are sending their love, and of course, we mean that in every way, Brooke. Thank you so much for being us, and thanks for joining us here at Workman Success on Facebook Live. I want to thank Austin. He's adorable, and I want to thank April for making this happen. And you know what? Just go out there and do some Brooke stuff. Do a Brooke thing, and see if it doesn't help you with you and your family and your business. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.